He's been trapped in his own mind, but it don't matter. He's got more time for the lover to arrive. If he's still alive, he could be revived, but he's dead inside. And he said it's fine, what a lovely lie. Then he left and said goodnight. Whoa, 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 whoa. That man's wonderland.
君はヒーローになれる。
言い忘れてたけど、これは僕が最高のヒーローになるまでの物語だ。
Alright, what is up guys, Action Figure Addict 112 here, and we are going to be taking a look at the Kaido Amazing Yamaguchi number 18, or I guess series number 18 is what it said on the box. Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, aka Spike Spiegel's son. Shout out to Animated Heroes for that joke. I remember when he did the Figma Deku review, he said that, and it's pretty funny. But in all seriousness, I've been waiting for this figure for a year and 4 months because I pre-ordered this guy and All Might all the way back in June, the end of June when they went up for pre-order, and I've been waiting patiently to get him and to get All Might in hand, which I'll have him soon, but they shipped me Deku first because he came out first. And also shout out to Amazon Japan for the clutch because they had him cheaper than anywhere else, and because he lowered in price when the pre-order came out, I was able to get him. I ended up saving some money on that, and then they ended up shipping him to me in like 2 days. So shout out to Amazon Japan for the clutch, even though I'm not sponsored by them. Just shout out to them because they take care of you. But anyway, yeah, I'm a huge fan of My Hero. Deku is one of my favorite characters, so when I found out that Kaido was making him an All Might, because All Might is my favorite character from My Hero, and Deku he's up there with All Might, but he's like second, you know what I mean? And whenever I get into All Might, you'll understand why I like him a little bit more. Yeah, when I found out that Kaido was doing My Hero figures, I was really excited because not that the Figma version of Deku is bad, I just knew that after getting Harley that if they had done My Hero figures, these were going to be the best of the best. Like, you were going to be able to get them in poses that you've seen them do in the anime with no problem. Because Kaido engineers their figures to that point, you know. I know the older Revoltech figures, there were issues, but they've stepped their game up since then. And you're going to see when it comes to articulation, this Deku, he can do it all. He can do it all. But with that, you know, yeah, so I've been waiting that long, and I'm excited to sit down and review them, so that's why I'm having trouble putting words together right now. But yeah, Deku is a pretty awesome character in My Hero. You know, he's just an average kid in a world where 80% of the population has abilities called quirks, and only 20% of the population is quirkless, like him. His mom had a quirk, his dad had a quirk, but he never got a quirk, so he ended up going to school with kids that had quirks, and then Bakugo, if you've seen the anime, was an asshole to him as a kid, and he looked up to All Might as, you know, as his inspiration. Like, All Might was how he looked up to All Might, like how we look up to Superman, you know what I mean, or Captain America, or you know, those type of superheroes where we want to be like them. we want to save people, we want to be the hero, and that's what Deku wants to be. And then, you know, when it gets to the point where he meets All Might, you know, All Might tells him that he can't be the hero because he doesn't have an ability. But when he sees Deku run in to save Bakugo and to save everyone else from the sludge monster, he ends up stopping Deku and asks him for, or gives him, All Might gives him his blessing to pass on the One for All to Deku. And if you haven't seen that, I'd recommend looking up that clip, because it when you watch it, you can't help but shed a tear because of how powerful and emotional that point is. Because All Might literally tells him, you can be the hero, as in anybody can be the hero. And when Strident and I and Allende and Zorpak sat down and we had our discussion, you know, that's why we love My Hero. Because, you know, you have your generic animes, whatever, but you have something special with My Hero, and this is for the My Hero is for the superhero fans and people who love superheroes like Captain America, Superman, you know, Marvel, DC, superheroes. Like, that's what this is. But there's also emotional parts that will make you tear up, and there is very powerful messages being put out there that I wish more animes would do. And I think that's why I fell in love with My Hero. So it's just, yeah, I recommend, if you haven't watched My Hero, click off this video, go watch a few episodes. I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll has it. I know all of, I think up till season 4 on the Funimation app they have it too. But go watch it and then come back and hear my thoughts on this figure. Because don't you go cheating and, you know, be upset because I spoiled it for you. I mean, you knew what you were getting into and you clicked on this. You know, I like to inform people when it comes to specific characters. But yeah, we'll take a look at the box. So in terms of the box is very nice. It's a very, very nice box. You can tell Kyoto put in a lot of effort when it came to this box, because there's it's like a mashup of the figure that you see here, and then, or the figure that we're going to be taking a look at, in action poses and all that stuff, showing off his articulation. But then there's also clips from My Hero, and there's a really nice, all the way at the bottom of the box, there's a really nice picture of Deku and All Might from that exact moment when I just said, you know, when he passes on the what's it called? Well, I wouldn't say it's from that, but it's really cool to see quirked out All Might. I love him quirked out when he's all thin and looking like a toothpick. I love it. But yeah, that's really cool that you get to see a picture of him and Deku, because All Might is like the father figure to Deku, so it's cool. But as you can see, the box is just really nicely done. It's in Deku green, you have his name on the box, you have the My Hero. It's just really cool. And then on the back of the box, you have him in different poses, and you see him writing in his little notebook, which he comes with. And there's just a bunch of kanji that I can't read, but it's cool that you see all the option parts and everything you get, and the different eye parts, which we're going to look at. And yeah, and then on the side of the box you see more pictures of him on the other side, and then on the top you can see him from the actual anime. And then when you open the box and you pull out the plastic tray that the figure's in with all the accessories and stuff, when you remove that and you look at the backdrop of the actual box, it's Deku from the anime, and you can see him that he's charging up his one for all, like he's getting ready to use the one for all, and it's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. I mean, I love how Kyoto goes all out when it comes to their boxes, because with Harley, when you look at her backdrop, it consists of a lot of her snippets from her comic and different things with Harley, and it's cool because I love when companies cover these anime figures and these comic figures, or characters from anime and comics and that type of stuff, and they go all out with the box. Like I mentioned with Mafex Gwenpool, I love her box. Because not only on the inside of the sleeve do you have detail, you have it on the outside, you have it on the inside of the box. It's just, I love when companies go all out with that, because I mean, it is just the box. I mean, you're not buying the figure just for the box, but it is cool to see that they put in so much effort into the box that you want to keep the box. So it's just cool. But yeah, now that I've gotten that out of the way, we can take a look at his paint and his sculpt, his accessories, his articulation, and then my final thoughts on him. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into this review. Okay, so we are going to be taking a look at Deku's paint and his sculpt. So in terms of his paint, it's very nicely applied. I went and looked at the figure a little bit before I set him up here for the paint and the sculpt section. So in terms of the paint, we'll take a look at it. I'm going to have to move my camera up so I won't be able to quite use my pointer because I'll be moving the figure. But when I get to the sculpt part, I'll bring my little pointer back out, which I need to upgrade that shit because that'd be looking real ghetto. But in terms of the paint, you can see there's no real slop. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll get import figures that have slop, and usually Kyoto, I'm not saying all the time, but usually the paint's pretty good. Sometimes you'll get some paint app issues, like with my Revoltech Harley, I had an issue with one of her wheels on her roller skates, and I tried to contact Kyoto to get it replaced, and I couldn't get through to them because they're all the way out in Japan and I'm in the US. So you know what I mean, it's harder to get customer service when you're not located where the figures are made. So, but I mean, as you can see, those blue lines right there on his cast, those are really nicely done. The little yellow dots for the bolts and stuff like that, those are very cleanly applied. Look at the black on that belt right there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The laces, beautiful. This is how it's done. This is how it should be done. You know, where you get paint apps clean like this. I mean, we have Hasbro and, you know, Mattel and shit that can't even get their paint QC issues, or I guess their paint quality this fucking good, and their figures are $20. This is a $50 to $60 figure, and look how fucking clean the paint is. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Like, even on the mask, look at that. There's no paint coming out of the lines, there's no bleeding, there's no nothing. There's just that little, you know, little licensing stamp, but it's not like on the butt or anything like that, so that's fine. Even the green on here is just beautifully sculpted. Then you look at the face, look how clean the face is. Look at that. The freckles, beautiful. The hair, look at that hair. This is beautiful, beautifully painted hair.
So, you know what I mean? This is what I mean. This is what Ayende means. This is what Strident means when we talk about the import figures. You know what I mean? This is why we buy more import figures when we can instead of the domestic shit, because you get your money's worth. You know what I mean? When you buy an import figure, you expect this kind of quality of paint. And this is the kind of quality of paint that you get where it's this clean. I mean, look at, I already reviewed Diva, that's where I teased my Deku review, but I mean, look how fucking clean her paint is. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, look at those decals. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And then you look at this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, you know, this is beautiful. Top notch. Top fucking notch. In terms of the sculpting, this is very nicely done too, and it's actually anime accurate. So Kyoto decided to do his more updated costume, which I appreciate. Figma only did his year 1 costume. Kyoto did his year 2 costume. The difference between the two is he has the casts on his arms. His utility belt is upgraded, and he has the armoring on his legs and his shoes. So he has the iron soles on his shoes, and he has the iron armor on his legs, because this is when he adapts to his shoot style, which he has to do because he ends up injuring his arms really badly in the fight when the League of Villains show up at the summer camp, where him and the rest of Class A are shown, or I guess Class 1A, I'm pretty sure, yeah, is when, or Class A, I think is what they're called. And yeah, he ends up injuring his arms so bad that the doctor ends up telling him that if he does it one more or 2 more times, that he's going to lose the ability to use his arms, and that's for everyday use. And yeah, so he ends up getting the casts put on his arms to reduce the amount of damage. So if he does end up using the One for All in his arms, those will reduce the damage. Yeah, so that's why he has that. And then he has armoring on his legs because Ida, who is the one that has the pistons built, his quirk is he can run really fast, because he literally has like pistons that are like built into his legs. And that allows him to run like extremely fast. So Ida ends up teaching Deku how to build up his legs so that he can use his legs, or he can use the One for All in his legs and not so much in his arms. And so that's also part of his shoot style, which when I get into the articulation, I'll bring this stuff up. But I mean, this is just, yeah, this is beautifully done. I mean, you have the wrinkle detail sculpted throughout. There's the wrist pieces here, which this is the only thing that's outdated as of right now. Right now, Deku has the Air Force gloves, which I haven't quite gotten to that part yet, but I know that he does upgrade his gloves to the Air Force gloves, which I know someone on Facebook is selling the Air Force gloves kit for this figure, but they want like $50 for it, and I'm like, no. I'll just keep this. Because as long as he has this costume, I'm good. You know, I don't mind that he doesn't have the Air Force gloves. So that's the only thing that's updated. Everything else is up to date. But yeah, it's just beautifully, beautifully sculpted. He even went and sculpted the shoelaces really nicely. right there, so you can see that. The shoelaces are beautifully sculpted, then the bottom of the soles here are really nicely sculpted too, and yeah, they're just really nicely done, and the face is really anime accurate too, so I appreciate that. You know, Figma did theirs and it looked really good, but I mean, we're talking about this is teenager Deku, so this is like sophomore year at UA Deku, so I appreciate that he's more grown up than what we see him at the beginning of My Hero. So yeah, I'm really digging this figure so far. Sorry that I knocked over Diva back there. So let me fix her real quick. But yeah, just so cool. So yeah, with that being said, we are going to be taking a look at his accessories next. Okay, so we are going to be taking a look at Deku's accessories now. So I'll cover his faceplates, his hands, and then his little accessories that he comes with. And I'll leave his effect pieces last because that's the most. When it comes to his accessories, he comes with the more, or the effect pieces are like a majority of the stuff that he comes with. So yeah, I'll cover the faceplates first. So in terms of his faceplates, he comes with this one out of the box, and then these are the two that he comes with in the box. So he has this face here, which is his, this is going to be his casual face when he's around Uraka, or he's drawing, or you know, he's around All Might. So if you decided to get the All Might, to the Revoltech All Might, or you have the McFarlane one, or the Anime Heroes one, which I'm not too sure how those are going to scale, but if you have an All Might figure, this will be the face that you'll have him with All Might. So unfortunately I can't take that picture yet because I don't have mine in hand yet, but hopefully next couple of days I'll have him. And then this is his fighting face. So I would call that his casual face, that would be his determined face, and this would be his fighting face. So this is his this is the face you'll use when you wanna, if you put all the effects on him, this will be like his charging up face, his full his one for all full cowling, when he's using that, or his flick style, or he's going to do the Detroit smash, the Delaware smash, Texas smash, Alabama smash, the United States of smash, any one of those, and you want to have him posed, this will be the face that you'll use. So, and the cool thing with him and All Might is that instead of doing what they did with Harley here, which I'll bring her down from her little review figures that need to get reviewed shelf, with her they gave you the movable eye gimmick. So basically you could pop the faceplate off, and then they gave you the little pick, which I have right here, actually right here. So this is her pick, and they gave you the little pick so that you could pop her face off and move her eyes, so you can have her looking in different directions or whatever for pictures. Instead they switched it up and gave you just the eyes here, so you have all these different eyes that you can pop out and use with those three different faces. I'm not going to sit here and move all of them because, you know, I don't want this review to be super long, but I do want to point this out because I will most likely have the different eyes set up for pictures, so don't worry. But yeah, he comes with a lot of eyes. He comes with a lot of them. So like these are here, these would be his thinking eyes, these would be, you know, looking to the left. Like these would be fighting eyes here, like determined, aggressive eyes. This is him looking to the right, looking to the left. You have all different options, so really cool. Now in terms of his hands, he comes with technically he comes with 4 sets of hands. He comes with the fist that you see there, and then he comes with a special set of hands for his accessories, or two specific accessories that he comes with, and then he comes with other hands. So in terms of his hands, he comes with the flick style hands here, which these would be what you would use for his shoot style. So instead of having him punch, you can have him flick if you want to have him do that, so that's cool. So those are really nicely sculpted. These are like palming hands, so he can do that. And then these hands here, these are meant for his notebook and his pen, which you can see here he has the pen in there. And then he comes with his notebook, which I'm gonna show you in a minute, but I'll show you how this is supposed to work. So he can hold the notebook one of 2 ways. You can have him holding it like this. So like, hang on, there you go. So you can have him holding it like this, or you can have him holding it from the side like, you can have him holding it from the side like this. So that's what those hands are for. But in terms of the notebook, this is pretty cool because this is actually from a specific point in the anime. They actually show you this exact picture here. So as you can see, he has the kanji scribbled on there, and this is him kind of sketching out what his suit's gonna look like. Because at the beginning, I'm pretty sure, at least in the first season, that's what he does. He ends up sketching out what his first costume looks like. And then this would be him, sketching it and kind of drawing it out. And then back here it says Campos. And then it has kanji right there, which I would imagine it says Izuku Midoriya on it, because this is his, his notebook. So it's cool because he has, he has little pages and stuff sculpted on there and painted. So it's pretty cool. I kind of like that they went that detailed, so I like that a lot. Then he comes with the eye pick. So it's pretty much the same thing with Harley. So pretty much the exact same pick, except this is what you would use to pop those eyes out instead of using them to rotate the eyes. Which I had issues with because I can't remember if it was this. It might have been this area here. There's like a little stress mark on it because of, you having to line it up in there and moving it so much. It ends up stressing the plastic on there. So what I would do is, if you have any of the movable, any of the Revoltech figures with the movable eyes, I would just use a toothpick instead of that. That way you don't end up stressing and possibly breaking the thing there. So this is what plugs into the stand, and this is what you attach these to. I still have this all bagged up, so my apologies for that. So hang on one second, because this is getting loud. Okay, so this is what you would plug these into. So you can see there's a little quotation bubble, and then there's the two different smash bubbles. So you have the one where it would be like kind of light or kind of a medium attack smash, and then there's one where it would kind of be a more heavier smash punch. So that's pretty cool. This is like his one of the things in the anime is if the situation comes up where he needs to think, he'll be thinking so hard that this little bubble will show up and everyone will be looking at him, and they'll be talking, and then it'll go back to him, and there's just all these little question marks, and the bubble's real big, and it's pretty funny. So that's cool that they actually gave him that. And then something I didn't even notice is that in terms of his stands, they didn't just give you one Revoltech stand, they actually gave you 2 stands. So you have one to have him posed with, and then if you want to have the effects, the little bubble effects, you can actually do that too. So that's pretty cool. And I don't mind getting more Revoltech stands because those are pretty solid stands. The joints are really tight. You really don't need to tighten anything when you get them, especially with a new figure. And they hold your figures up really nicely. So they're pretty solid stands. I really like them. I like using those in the Mayfex stands. So it's pretty cool, but that's not all of his accessories. I'm still going through this stuff. So this right here is what you would, this is the extra faceplate here, or not the extra faceplate, the extra hair piece. So what you would do is you would just pop this one off back there. You would pop this one off back here, and then what you would do is just pop this one on, and it gives you the lightning effect for when he's charging up for the one for all. And then almost done. I know this section's gonna be long, but he comes with all of these effect pieces. All of these. He comes with all of those. And they plug into different parts of the figure, so I'm pretty sure these go to his arms. And yeah, so there's different parts where you would plug them in. And like I'll show you here, you can see you see little, oh shit, you can't even, wow. So you can see those little holes in the back of his arms there and on his hands and stuff like that. That is what allows you, on the back of his shins. That's where you would plug in the effect pieces, and that's where you would plug in those effects so that you can have him charged up, which I'll be taking pictures with those. So you can, depending on what percentage you want him using the one for all at, that's how many effect pieces you would put on there. So if you want him at 100%, like he does when he takes on overhaul, that's what it is, overhaul, with Eerie on his back, and he charges it up to 100%, and that's when the lightning crackles all around him, which if you haven't seen that fight, you're doing yourself a disfavor by not watching that, because that fucking fight was just epic. But yeah, that's pretty much all he comes with. So you do get quite a few accessories with him, which is nice because, it seems like, and I mentioned this with my Figma Diva review, it seems like with Figma and Figuarts, it seems like the more newer releases we get, the less accessories that we get, and the more the price goes up. But yet this, I got Deku for like what, 50, 53, 55. I want to say it was like around 55 or 50. It was around either $53 to $56 before shipping. And you get all this shit with him, and those two stands, and those bubble pieces, and the little piece to plug that in. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? This should be a wake-up call to Figma and Bandai that they need to stop this shit with giving us less accessories and charging more for the figure. No. We should be getting a good amount of accessories. Now, I'm not one of those collectors that when there's more shit in the box, I'll buy it, because that's not the case. But when you have specific characters, and I've mentioned this even in Diva's review, when you have specific characters from an anime, a video game, a movie, whatever, and you see them use specific things, they need to come with these specific things, because that's part of the character. The accessories are what help you, in terms of figure wise, they help you give off the character more. So, Diva coming with her pistol and her headphones and the bubblegum face and the winky face and the selfie hand, or the hand with her cell phone, so you can do the selfie, and the peace hands, the heart-shaped hands. That's all of Diva. That's Diva's character. So when they gave her those sets of hands, that's showing that Figma gave a shit to give her the things that make her diva. With Revoltech, with the Revoltech, they gave you everything that makes Deku Deku. You have his, you have his pen and his notebook that he draws in. You get the different faces. I mean, you don't need a bajillion faces, but the fact that they gave you the 3, casual face for Deku, you have his aggressive face, and then you have his determined face. Then you get the shooting style hands, those palm hands, and then you get the hands that you can hold the notebook and the pen. That's awesome. Then you get extra eyes, you get the effect pieces for the one for all. I mean, what the fuck? Like, this is how it should be. So again, props to Kyoto for this. I'm just very impressed. So with that being said, we're gonna get into his articulation now. Okay, so we are going to be taking a look at Deku's articulation now. So I'm going to move my mic up here so I can talk while I'm doing this standing up, so you can at least see this and I'm not sitting down here struggling. So his head's on a double ball joint, which means the way that his neck is set up is that he has a ball joint in his neck, and then he has a ball joint here so that you can get him. If you wanted to, you can extend the neck here. You can get him looking up that far, which is impressive as hell. So the fact that they were able to engineer this, I mean, it shows you that Kyoto can indeed engineer their damn figures. And then if you wanted him looking down, yeah, see, if you move his head too much, you have that, but you can get him looking down all the way if you want to. So he can look all the way down. So there's that. He can look, fix his neck. Here, there we go. See, he can look left, he can look right. He's got sass, of course. But yeah, it's cool that you can actually extend the neck so you can get more articulation. In terms of his arms rotate 360, and they're on a drop-down joint too, because all of this here is a Revoltech joint, but then he also has butterfly joints in both of his arms, so you can move his arm forward this much, you can move him back this much, and I mean, that's great that you can do that. So you have rotation here, you have rotation here, you have a single joint here, and then when it comes to his wrists, because these can move here, you can get him moving his arms up and down here, or you can get them rotating here to move side to side. So that's cool. So depending on the wrists, you can just mess with that and that works. So because his crotch area here is like free moving, and he's on a double ball joint with the ab, he can crunch forward this much, and he can crunch back all the way back this much. Like, this would be his max. He can crunch back. So, and then lining that back up, he has side to side in his ab. And then when it comes to his legs, he can kick forward this much, he can kick up this much, he can kick back this much right here, and then he can do the splits. So yeah, that was something that I've seen people point out, that if you move his leg too much, that does that. But yeah, there's that. He has a rotation here. As you can see, he has a thigh cut there, so that rotates. Then, oh, okay. So I thought it might have been set up the same way that Harley has it, but I don't think it is. So right here you get a double jointed knee, but technically it's a Revoltech joint, but it bends like a double jointed knee. So there's that. Then down here, you have a ball joint here, so he can move his foot up this much. He can move it back this much. Well, no, actually, yeah, he can move it up this much. He can move it all the way back that much. And then he also has ankle rocker down here and a toe pivot. So in terms of his articulation, if I wanted to get him in the full cowling kick, I totally can with no issue, because that is what he is engineered for. If I can remember how to do that. Yeah, there we go. I'm pretty sure I'm doing that right. Hang on, I gotta look at the box real quick. Okay, yeah. So, let me see. Right here, his arm bends here, and then you move his arm back here, his leg up, his leg up here, his leg back here, and I'm pretty sure, yeah. So it's, at least on the box, this is how it's looking. So yeah, he can he can do the full cowling kick. Probably should move that leg up about that much though. So yeah, he can actually do it. I don't have his like aggressive face on, but he can do the full cowling kick, if you're wondering. So yeah, he can do the kicks, man. He can. Oh, it probably should have been more like that. And then if you add the effects, it'll look more on point. So I mean, his articulation is, yeah, it's good. I mean, like, his joints right now are a little tight in some areas, but that's because I literally just got home from work and then picked him up and did all that. But you want him in running poses, there you go. You want him in punching poses, throw that one back, throw this one forward. There, you have him charged up here. Throw that arm back, throw this. I must be moving this damn thing too hard, because this shit keeps popping out on me. There we go. Alright, so yeah, there we go. Back on it, there we go. Punch in. Throw that arm back, throw this forward. So, I mean, it probably should be more like, you know what I mean, like throwing back more, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm doing here. So, you know, you want him kind of flying back with the shoot style. Extend the neck, move that forward, and then move his arm forward here. His arm like that. Throw this back here. See what I mean? Like, it's so easy to sit here and pose him. And that's why I love the Revoltech figures. I mean, the Revoltech figures are they're not meant for people that just, you know, put the shit on the shelf and don't touch it. I mean, these are meant for the people that, you know, enjoy posing their figures so much. That's why you get the Revoltechs, because the Revoltechs, they have more articulation, and, you know, you can really get your figures in poses. So yeah, I'm feeling this dude. I'm feeling him for real. So yeah, I'll probably have him in more poses when I get into the final thoughts and stuff. But excuse me, in terms of okay, so yeah, those open set of hands that I showed you, those are meant for him holding his hands so that he can do the flick. The shoot style with his hands, that's kind of the hold it there for, what's it called, extra support when he does the flick. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm really feeling this figure. So yeah, with that being said, we are gonna get into his final thoughts now, or my final thoughts on this guy. Alright, so my final thoughts on the Kyoto Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, is this. I think for the price that I paid for him, I got my money's worth and then some. I mean, he does everything that I need him to do, you know? But I really have to give it to Kyoto when it came to the sculpting, the painting, and that area of the figure, because, you know, Deku has a very specific build to him where he's not too, he's like in between buff but like skinny at the same time. Like he has, you know, he's built up muscle since season 1, but he's not like fucking jacked like All Might, you know what I mean? So, you know, he's kind of in between. So I'm glad that they were able to get that build right, because McFarlane, he did it, but I just wasn't feeling it. And then his height was something else. I was kind of curious to see how he was going to scale with All Might, and then if I were to get, you know, the Figma My Hero figures for the characters that Revoltech didn't do or hasn't done yet, and McFarlane hasn't done yet, or has, but I just didn't like them. I was curious to see how he was going to scale, and he scales really good. I mean, you can see him with All Might. All Might towers over him like he should. And then whenever I get Uraka in hand, and I do her review, I'm going to show you how she scales with him too. But I think they did a really good job. They knocked it out of the park with Deku here, because they also gave him the updated suit, which I like. So he has the cast, like I said, he has a cast on his arms. He has the armoring, or the armor on his legs, because he's using his legs more than his arms, because if you've watched the anime, he did a lot of damage to his arms in season 1 and 2, so he's having to use his legs so he can keep usability in his arms, because that's one of the things that they said was, if, you know, if he pushes the limitations on his arms like he did in season 1 and 2, like 1 or 2 more times, he'll lose the ability to use his arms. So I'm glad that they went with that look, and then they did the Iron Souls. You can, you know, so that now you have that plus the articulation and engineering, you can get him to do the full Cowling kick. So I'm glad about that. And then the effect pieces are awesome, and all of his accessories are just, they're cool. He doesn't really need a lot, because, you know, it's Deku. But I think if they do eventually do another Deku, which I'm hoping they do, because it seems like this figure was very hard to get in hand for a lot of people, because Entertainment Earth, I think, had him, and then someone else had him, and they said, one of the retailers, the online retailers, said that they had to cancel everyone's pre-orders because there was a licensing issue with either Kyoto or with Funimation, maybe. I'm not too sure. But they had to cancel that, and then Entertainment Earth canceled their pre-orders for some reason. So you were really only able to get him off AmiAmi, Hobby Link Japan, and Amazon Japan, I'm pretty sure, and then Big Bad Toy Store, but I wouldn't recommend pre-ordering any import figures through them, because they charge way too fucking much for that. So yeah, fuck them for that. That's some bullshit. Yeah, and then after I got him in hand, I noticed he shot up on Amazon Japan, and I was like, what the fuck? So I don't know what's going on with this figure, but I'm hoping that Kyoto still has a license to do these import figures, because I think McFarlane holds the master license right now to do figures of My Hero, action figures, if you want to call them that, in the US. And I think Kyoto and Figma have the license to do them in Japan, so I don't really know. It's kind of a gray area right now, because I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck happened with this figure. Because you can still get All Might, but it's like Deku, you just can't get him, so maybe it's because he's such a popular character. Maybe that's the case, but I don't really know. But yeah, he looks really good next to other heroes too, so it's cool. But that is going to do it for me on this review for Deku. And before I do end this recording, I do want to say thank you to all the new subscribers that showed up on my channel. I don't know if it was because of the Joy Toy stuff, but I noticed after I put that up, I'd gotten maybe 5 or 6 new subscribers, so welcome. Thank you for checking out the channel and digging my content that I've been putting up. You know, even though it's at a slow rate, I've been trying to put it up. But yeah, I do very much appreciate that. It makes me feel good that, you know, people are digging what I'm putting out in terms of content, because I know a lot of people are getting burnt out from doing content, and that's why I've been trying to not do that. That's why I've been, you know, working at my own pace, you know, so that's why there's been you know, a slow I guess time that I've been putting up content. So I do have stuff that I need to review, though. It's just I'm gonna work at my own pace. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say was that. But yeah, we're still recording the podcast too. I still have episodes for that. I didn't give up on that, but yeah, I'm just slowly putting stuff up in my own pace. So hopefully you guys bear with me. Don't, you know, just subscribe and then unsubscribe because I took too long or something. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews. Alright, Action Figure Addict 112 out.